morning, Miss Jallow. How are you?
I'm good. Thanks.
Welcome to the TRRC. Thank you very much for coming all the way here in order to testify. Firstly, and then to conclude before types of questions such as how do you know something, I might ask you further detail. Point.
Sure.
I will want to describe another situation or another event. Today, we have about 8 topics to cover. Introduction of who you are for the 2017 competition. So we will talk about official, then we will talk about any optimization. The Gambia, you understand the fellow?
Yeah.
Can you tell us when and where you were born, Miss Jallow?
I was born in Jarosoma, Mansakonko Clinic in 1996.
Can you tell us the exact date?
19th April.
19 April 1996. And what is it about your school?
Yeah, we went over this 1,000 times as I'm very bad with dates. But I was there from 2000 to 2003. And when it was time to start my primary school at grade 1, I, at the time, decided to go to an Arabic school instead. I had a brother that was sick, so I thought I would close earlier and I'll be able to take care of him. So I went to Sheikh Job Islamic School, which is in Barawaleng, behind Brikama, and I was there from 2004 to 2008. And then I proceeded to go to Kabafita Upper Basic School, so I did not attend English primary school. I tried to enroll in many schools, and I had to sit for an English and a maths test to get at least 80% to be able to get into an English school. And with studies and with mom and dad, I was able to get into Kabafita in the lowest class at the time because I did not have a background in any of the subjects in English. So I spent...
You can just slow down as you're speaking.
Okay.
But yes, please continue.
Okay. So I went to Kabafita from 2008 to 2011, from grade 7 to grade 9, and I became the head girl of Kabafita throughout my grade 9, and very active in drama, debates, and everything stage related. Then I went to Newswet Senior Secondary School from 2011 to 2014, and in September of that same year, I started to attend the Gambia College.
I know from the outset you've mentioned that you're not very good with dates.
Yeah.
So I would just like to clarify one issue regarding when you attended Sheikh Job Islamic School.
Right.
I believe you said from 2004 to 2008.
2003 to 2008, I think.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you for that. You said you finished at Nusrat High School, and that would have been in 2014.
Yes.
And so that would have been grade 12.
Yes.
And thereafter you started at the Gambia College.
Yes.
What is that exactly?
A higher teacher's certificate. Yeah.
You mentioned that the reason why you decided to go take care of your brother. What do you mean by that? What was wrong with your brother, and why was the Arabic school a better option?
Right. So my brother was sick. He has ADDH, I think that's what it's called, and suffering. It was the closest to my brother. We have only 1 year apart. We were pretty close. And with English schooling, it involves after studies. It involves going for guidance and other extracurricular activities. But with the Arabic school, adding the fact that I was very enthusiastic about reading the Quran and I was fascinated by all that, it also closes around 2, and there's hardly ever extracurricular activities, so I can get home earlier and I can either wash him off or go look for him if he goes missing in the neighborhood, or make sure he eats. So I will spend the better half of the day with him because my mom was going to Carnifing for studies, so she will get home after 8 or like 9 in the evening. That was why that was convenient.
So from a very young age, you were responsible for taking care of your brother. That's right.
Yeah, partly.
Can you tell us when you started English school, what happened to your brother after that?
So my dad decided to pay someone who would be at home to take care of him. So it was like a guard and then a helper. And that happened before I even chose to go to English school. So when I looked around again, I said, oh, I don't know what I'm going to do if I finish Arabic school. I don't want to be a teacher, an Arabic teacher, or so I want to work in an office at that age, or whatever concept I had about being an English student instead of an Arabic student. So I went to my dad and then I told him, oh, remember I said that I wanted to go to Arabic school? Yes, I have changed my mind now. I want to go back to English school. And he did not hesitate. He did let me.
So you said that one thing that you wanted to do was work in an office.
Right.
And eventually in 2014 September, you started the higher teaching certificate course
Right.
at the Gambia College.
Right.
At that time, you were 18 years old, is that correct?
Yes.
Can you tell us when was the first time you heard about the 22nd July pageant?
I had the pageant early on, in around when it just started. I remember watching it in my older mom's, my dad's first wife's house with the rest of my siblings. And I saw students from the University of the Gambia, and I think it was either around the time that Face of Afisel happened. It was it before or after, I'm not sure, but it was around that time. And I thought it was great. I watched it. We would stay in the house until 3 in the morning because the Sodid went on for that long. And yeah, and I said I would do that if I get the chance to. I mean,
and what were some of the, from watching the pageant, what were that piqued your interest?
Presented their various institutions in academia and also debates and drama and competitions, and they represented the best of what any female student could remember. The poetry, I could remember the empowering sight to see, and all these women had platforms on different issues about early teenage pregnancy, about HIV and AIDS, about FGM, about going back to the farm, and so they were topics that were of interest to national development, and that was also a driving force. But most importantly is the concept was, at least how I saw it, was, oh, you're great and you're good and you're the best of what we can take from your institutions to say, and we give you a platform and you tell us what you want to do, and then we further your education, we further whatever it is that you want to do. So that was the driving force, yeah.
So essentially you saw it as an opportunity to further your interest as well as education.
Yes.
Did you know any of the people who had participated in any of the pageants, any of the previous contestants?
I know about a few up close, but my sister at the time, who's way older than me, there's a huge age gap. Most of her friends from either Newsred at the time or either from the organizations that she was in, whether it was NAPSA and all of that, I saw them there, and I did sometimes used to see them come visit my sister at home, so I was familiar with their faces. And about 4 to 5 of them that I've seen, the rest not so much. I lived in Brikama, and I hardly come to the combos. But they really represented whatever institution they were coming from, and they were really portrayed as the face of that institution or school or tertiary, yeah.
Did you hear anything about what happened to any of the contestants in terms of
face-to-face or word of mouth? It was right in the advertisements that were on GRTS, whether the Minister of Education at the time, and there have been people that get to go and study up to PhD level, and all of that is taken care of. You choose whatever school you want to go to. And these people, some of them have even come back to the country to serve in various positions. And I think whatever else I heard from people was just a reiteration of what the advertisements were showing. So, but it wasn't anyone that I know of that participated that ever engaged me as to what they got or what their benefits were.
Did you eventually participate in this 22nd July pageant?
Yes, I did. Between the November and December, but I would say November of 2014.
Can you tell us what led to your participation? Like well, you've told us what motivated you to have interest in the pageant.
Right.
But what actually led to your to the process of you putting yourself forward as a contestant?
Right. So, to put it in context here, when I finished high school, more of an English written and literature kind of a student. I've always been very bad at maths, still very bad at maths. So I did not get the credit score on maths to go to the university. So in between, my going to college was a hassle. My mom and my dad had to sit me down for days because I thought I don't want to go to Gambia college. I want to go to a university, or I would rather sit home. And she just kind of pointed out, oh, it's just for the meantime. Instead of sitting home, just go, and at least there's something you're doing, and then you can sit for the private exams for maths, which I still told her that I will still not pass, but again, perspective. And so when I was going to Gambia College, when I started, it was really me waking up every day, going there, but saying that I don't want to be here, I don't want to be here. So I was really thinking about other things, about Ibunja Theater was a huge interest for me to go and do stage performance and drumming and playbooks. I had at this point forgotten about Miss July 22nd, or if not forget it, it wasn't in my present moment because we didn't have GRTS at the house when we moved, because my mom had moved out of the main compound, so I wasn't following up anymore. But I met girls who were at the college at the time who met with me after I was presenting in an English class, and they told me, hey, you should represent us at the Miss July 22nd. We have this coming up. The Gambia College has never won, and I think you would be a great representative. And I said, oh, that's still going on. She's like, yes. Then she's like, oh, you don't have to do anything, just give me your name and I will drop it off at Mrs. Carlos, who was training us at the tertiary school level. So that is how it was reintroduced to me, and that is how my name was put into the ballot to participate to represent the Gambia College.
So at that point, if I understand you correctly, rehearsals or activities had already begun?
No, it hasn't at this point.
Okay.
Yes, but other people, most people have already put in their names, but they did not have someone from the School of Education. So they had someone from nursing in Banjul, they had one from the School of Agriculture, and all the other departments, but they didn't have one for School of Education. So when I put my name in, that is when rehearsals started, but I did not go to the rehearsals that followed. I forgot about it again. Yeah.
You mentioned is it Carlos or?
Madame Carlos.
Madame Carlos.
Yes.
Who was responsible for training?
Training, yeah.
What kind of training are you referring to?
With our platforms and also with etiquettes, table etiquettes. I remember we went to the lunchroom of the college and how to use a fork and a knife. She was a very sweet but very strict lady. And also on stage presence and how to present an idea. Basically everything surrounding pageantry. Yeah.
So when you talk about rehearsals, is this what you're referring to as well, or was there something different about those rehearsals?
This is part of it. We will basically do it in a classroom that was available in the college.
And how long did your rehearsals take?
I came in after they've already had like 3. It all happened in a very short span. November, yeah, but it all happened in a very short span. And I came in on the 4th rehearsal, and that is because I met this same group of girls again. Like, oh, we have not been in Wolof, we have not been seeing you. Come around, the rehearsals have started. I said, oh, I forgot. Is it going on? They said today at 4, and we are going there, because I was already heading home, coming out of the campus. And then I followed them, and then we went in there. That was the first day I met some of the girls that were also there to compete. And I met Madame Carlos too there on that day. And that's when I started my rehearsals. So we did this for not long. I can't remember the exact number of times that we rehearsed before the preliminary rounds.
So can you tell us how you became the person who was selected to actually represent Gambia College? What was the process? Was there some kind of judgment type criteria? Was there a mini pageant, for instance? And also, were you the only one who was selected?
So there was a mini pageant which was called the preliminary rounds. Again, because I joined the rehearsals at a very later date, it was almost the day of the competition. I remember coming home and running to Serakunda Market because I did not have a dress to wear. I pulled my mom's shoes because we wear the same size, and I went with a friend of mine. She was at the college. She's part of the girls who's introduced me to this. We went to Serakunda to this guy who sells dresses second hands. His name is Chat, but he's a very popular dress seller in Serakunda. So we went there. I had $500 on me. We looked at the dresses. I picked one black one, and it had a slash in the front on the side. And the dress was about $800 instead, so my friend helped and pitched in. I bought that dress quickly. It didn't even fit me well. It was very tight. But I ran with it home, dressed the home college round, hearing me all the time, some of my participate winner. So presentation win and all that. So that was the concept.
The 2 winners from the preliminary round,
yeah.
And then you went to the national stage,
yes.
Which was the Miss 22nd July
yes.
Competition. Can you tell us about the preparations for the competition once you got to that national platform?
So I came home that night, and with the siblings and everybody was screaming, and my mom said, what happened? I said, okay, I think it got a little bit more serious now. So we were told that we will be living in a hotel for a couple of weeks or a week, I'm not sure of the date span, before the competition to prepare us. And we are going to be there with the other girls and the ones who are supposed to help us. And our families are not allowed access in there, but the reasons given for that was because they do not want parents who take it seriously to come right in, included me thinking about get anything. So I had to get all of that under preparations, and to braid my hair, to have a wig on, and that was mostly it. But I spent most of my time with the talent part of it. I went to a Fula guy who's griot in Farato to learn how to play the traditional Fulariti, because I wanted to do the same act that I did with poverty and Gambia fighting, but with display of a traditional instrument. So I remember coming to my mom begging her to pay for this guy that I wanted to learn to play the riti, and I did pay him, and I had few classes with him, and I borrowed his riti because I didn't want to buy one, but I spent most of my time doing that. And then a boss came. The Gambia college students were happy, and me and the girl who won, we came in a big bus. They picked me up from my home. There were celebrations, and Gambia College is going to bring the win home this time around. We went to Madame Carlos to say bye. We picked up the other girl, and then we went to Paradise Hotel. And when we got in, we all got off, and there were other cars too that brought other girls. So from Gambia High to the University of the Gambia was represented, MDI was represented, GTTI, and also senior secondary school girls were also represented. So we came with our bags, and we all sat in the lobby of Paradise Suites Hotel. Familiarized ourselves, and then we were
mentioned to expect.
I know that was going when I had a specific time to have breakfast. We had lunch, or they got down to the beach to run our platforms, write them down, and at the same time too, GRTS and some also take pictures of us, video thing, and the hall. Yourself how to. And also, you take it to them, they edit it, they're like, change this, add this, put this. And then we also rehearsed our group dance that you do at the beginning, which takes a long time. It was like a girls' camping, a speech perverted, but I will always go back to the actual Riti with me at the time. But the atmosphere over girls' camp atmosphere.
During that 1 or 2 week period, did they, but also after the competition, what you could expect as a participant, a contestant at the time, but also if you were to win, right, what could you expect?
Conversations were ongoing almost at every dinner in the evening. The expectation was the winner, of course, is going to get a scholarship, and in terms of what the president could gift, there wasn't a specific gift, a specific amount. It all depended on him. That was kind of clear when it comes to extra stuff or gifts that you're going to get apart from the scholarship, right? And that he gave the scholarships. That was also made very clear. The other conversations we had was basically the whole routine of the July 22nd pageant. Who's going to be there, the ministers that are going to be there. We were advised not to be nervous, to walk on our stage presence, don't get frightened. And as time went on too, they were very clear about don't go talk to the drivers, don't interact with the guys at the door. If you win. And if you win too, the Ministry of Education works towards your scholarship. You might get it, you might not get it. It also depends. Yeah.
And when they talked about scholarships, you said it would depend on the president, and in some instances the ministry would also work towards assisting with scholarships.
Right.
What did you understand? Were they referring to scholarships in country or scholarships abroad? What was your understanding at that point?
The ones that were in tertiary institutions, the idea was they do apply for schools abroad, and it is paid for, especially the winners of the competition. And for those that are going to high school at the time, might be paid for by the Ministry of Education here in the country.
And so considering that you were at college at the time, at the Gambia College, the fact that you could have a scholarship abroad must have been something that incentivized you to really do well during the competition.
Yes, that was the main, again, as I said earlier, I did not want to be at the college, and so for me, before I even joined the competition, I've applied for schools. I've got accepted into 2 schools. I've applied for flight schools. Almost, I was just on the internet applying. So So for me, that's what I really wanted to do, to leave the country and go and study. And because it was really established that it is talent-based, because it's an academic scholarship, that what you display and your platform was really important to get in the scholarship. So me, and I believe the rest of the girls, really gave it their all, like, in participating, yeah.
But from that moment, you knew that getting a scholarship abroad depended on the president.
Yes.
So after the 1 or 2 week period that you spent at Paradise Suites Hotel, let's move on to the actual competition itself and what happened. Please give us an idea of what took place on the day of the competition.
On the day of the competition, I remember in the morning I was pleading with Auntie Tita that I know our parents are not supposed to come here, but I needed my Riti to perform, and we didn't have us given access to like call. They did it, and I told Auntie Tita, please do call my mom to bring the Riti. I don't need to see her, she can deliver it here. So my mom did that morning. I got my Riti. The morning atmosphere was more of nervousness. Everyone was nervous and filled with anxiety. But towards the competition in the evening, the hall started to get filled. There's a backstage where we prepared and we had our clothes for both evening wear, traditional, and also the dance we are supposed to do. All schools came. The Gambia College were there to support. All these other institutions and schools were also there. And you have a front row where you had ministers ranging from Minister Fatul Amin Fai to all the other ones were there. And right behind them was the former pageant who won, and then the one that won for senior secondary school was also sitting there, and then other people. And then to the left, yeah, there were the judges. Some of the judges were former contestants in the pageant as well. So the stage was set. We were ready. We came out, did the dance, same routine again, did our presentation platform, did the talent display, and everyone did the same thing. It was a long night of that. And towards the end of it, the winners were announced, and we were given gifts on the stage. I can remember, what I remember is clothing from Ida's Idea, and a basket of some stuff in it, yeah.
So we know that 22 of you contested for this. You said at the end of the night the winners were announced.
Right.
So who were the winners and for what categories?
So I was the winner for tertiary institution, and there was a winner for high school. There was a second runner-up, a third runner-up, and there was Miss Photogenic, Miss Congeniality, and other categories of Miss, but about, yeah.
Do you remember the names of any of the other winners?
Yes, I do remember the names. So it was me. For tertiary, the winner for the high school was Awajame. The winner for Miss Photogenic was Fatum Benga. The second runner-up was Fanambo of the UTG in tertiary category, and followed by Halimatu Bah of either MDI, yeah, MDI, and Miss Congeniality was Safiatou Balde. I can't remember, like I remember the names, but I don't remember what category they won, yeah.
So you said after the winners were announced, you were given gifts while you were on stage.
On the stage, yeah.
You mentioned clothing from Ida's Ideas, correct?
Ida's Idea and another tailor, another popular one around the area. I can't remember her name.
You mentioned something else. What kind of other gifts did you receive?
I don't remember the details of it, but I know it's a basket and it has flowers in it. But I don't remember what was in it.
So after the competition, can you tell us what happened? What kind of activities took place as a result of, in your case, having won Miss Tertiary Education? What were some of the activities or some of the expectations that you were expected to fulfill?
Right. So at this point, we are into early weeks of December of 2014.
In fact, let me ask a specific question before that.
Right.
Do you recall the date of the competition in 2014?
No, 21st or 22nd of November, around that time, but yeah.
Please proceed.
Right. So when we finished that night of the competition, we didn't get to meet or regroup or talk about coming in. After that, we didn't meet. It was wait. So we were waiting. So there wasn't a point to say that there's a process that's supposed to happen at the Ministry of Education that we are supposed to go to and meet and discuss what's supposed to happen at the ministerial level or at that department that was responsible. It was that we were waiting for a courtesy call from the president. So this went on. We are into December, and normally he would meet with the group early on, immediately when it happens. Ours took longer, and so I started to get involved in filming and movies, and there was this one that I opted for with a director called Femi at the time, with Monica in it, and there was yeah.
But before that,
Right.
Did you have any interactions with the Ministry of Education? Were you required to do anything else after the competition?
Immediately, no.
Okay.
We didn't talk about what was supposed to be done or myth to talk about any of that happened after the courtesy call.
So I assume that photographs were taken of you during the actual competition.
Are you talking about the full-length photographs?
Well, that's what I'm trying to drive at. Were any photographs taken after the competition?
It was after the competition, but after the courtesy call, not in between.
Okay, so let's take it step by step. Tell us about the director Femi, who was shooting
movie called...
a movie.
Yeah, the Tama and the Daga, or the Tama and something. So I was involved in that, and I was shooting for that. So the first time I got a call towards that was on that day. I was at the movie set somewhere around Senegambia with the director and with Monica. And then I received a call from the chaperone at the time, who was also with us the whole time in Paradise. And then she told me that there is an event at the State House, and the president is being awarded with a certificate of food self-sufficient Pan-African something from an organization outside of the Gambia, and that is being celebrated, and we're supposed to be there. I was already in my attire for the scene, so I told her that I will not be able to come for that event. She said, but this is like the first event. I said, I know, but I really cannot come. And then that was where we cut off the conversation, yeah.
What is the name of the chaperone that you're talking about?
It's okay, I can say the names, right? Okay.
Yes.
Aisha, that is Auntie Aisha.
So representative of the gender unit of the Ministry of Education.
Yeah. Yes.
So please continue. What happened after that phone call?
Few minutes after that phone call, then I received a call from Jimbe. So I guess at this point Aisha has related back to her or whoever made the call to let them know that we are supposed to go. And she called me and I pick up, and it was with a no caller ID. And then she told me that I have to come. This is an event that I have to come to. Wearing the crown comes with responsibilities, and all the girls being there and I'm not being there doesn't look good. And I told her at that time that I was menstruating, which was a lie, and that I had stomach cramps and I cannot come. So when she hung up, I think she called back again at the office. Yeah.
Did you know who she was when she called you?
No, I didn't.
So you hadn't met her before that first phone call?
No, I have never met her.
Did she introduce herself?
No, she just said that I'm calling from the protocol office.
And you said she called with a no caller ID, so an unknown number?
Yes.
And did she say how she got your number, for instance?
The gender department to say that I do have to come. So here I should have clarified with my mom what happened. But because my mom also works at the Ministry of Education, but under curriculum or another department, a colleague who heard that I'm insisting to come, and when Jimmy called, or whichever protocol called, apart from the one who called me, was insisting that I have to come to the State House for this event. My mom called me. She was there with an auntie of mine who works at the ministry called Auntie Jabate. She called and said, in Mandinka, Muna ite fanang yekumandi munata, like you've been called, just go. And I told my mom, I cannot go. I am right in this scene, like this is a lifetime opportunity. There are so many other events that are going to happen. I already told them that I have cramps. And she said to me, but they're going to come for you anyway, so, you know, where are you? So I told my mom where I was. And I was there. An hour later, my mom came in driving with that Auntie Jabate, and then they got off the car, and she said they've been calling me, they've been coming to my office. Auntie Isa is saying that they're bothering her, they're calling her and saying that you have to come. So Monica and the director engaged my mom, like what's happening, and my mom explained, and Auntie Jabate, to be specific, was more understanding of the situation, that okay, manghanyi mola, just go. So Femi too, even though very disappointed, had to call in another actress, I think her last name is Mboj, for her to come in and had to ask her, and because we are a different size in clothing, they had to rush to the tailor to fix up the shirt. And because I wasn't ready to go, I wasn't on my way, I did not have my sachet, I didn't have my crown, and I didn't have a dress on. So Auntie Khadija Bate decided she would go to Yundum and grab my dress and my crown, and my mom will drive me to Banjul, and we will meet at the entrance and I can change my clothes. And that's what we did. I was late because they were already well into the program. Yeah.
You mentioned Monica.
Yeah.
And you mentioned that the director Femi. Who's Monica?
Monica Davis. She's an actress. She's a Gambian actress.
And do you recall the date of this particular event that you're talking about?
No.
But it was somewhere in December?
Yeah.
Do you remember if it was the beginning or end of December?
Mid-December, maybe.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you were called to go to State House
Right.
for official meeting, essentially,
Right.
because the president was getting an award.
Right.
At that point, you realized you couldn't say no, so you had to go. But you didn't have any clothes with you, and you're supposed to change when you arrived in Banjul.
Right.
So tell us what happened when you arrived.
I was waiting in the car with my mom. We waited for Auntie Khadija to come, and then she came. I changed in the car, and then I got off. I went to the entrance. My mom and Auntie Khadija went back to the time who I didn't know. And a protocol called Aisha Barry was asked to come and pick me up at the gate. So I went through security. They scanned my bag, and when I came out of the scanning area, Aisha Barry was there, and then she showed me my seat. When I came, all the girls were already there, so I took my seat. They're like, "Danga late, look here, what was going on?" Because I had said that I wasn't coming in the beginning because I had stomach cramps, I still maintained that story. I said, "Oh, do dara suma bir bi moma bugana ray, and you know, nama force rek ñew." So I sat there.
I think you have to interpret that for some of the non-Wolof speakers.
Dama force ñew means I just forced myself to come. Yes. Right. So I took my seat and the event started. And all the normal proceedings and praises, and the food self-sufficiency of Gambia was at the top of it, and congratulations. But I can vividly remember Balagaba Jahumpa on that day. And then the president came, of course, before all of this, and we all stood up. That was the first time I actually saw him up close, not that close, but at least that much closer. And then the event finished, they wrapped up, and Jimby, who was throughout the time walking around the place, she came there and she's like, "My name is Jimbe, and the president will meet you guys briefly. This is not an official meeting, but he will just want to meet you briefly because he should have met you earlier, but because of circumstances, that's why." And we said, okay. And we were all excited at the time, you know, like, yay, and, you know. But he said that we had to wait because he's going to pray. They got off the main VIP lounge, they walk into the mosque of State House, and then the area.
Ceremony that had just taken place.
Right.
Did you have any role as winners or former contestants? Did you have any role to play at all during that ceremony?
We were enjoying theatrics. We were just sitting there and copying every word Balagaba Jahumba says, really. We didn't have any official function that we were supposed to do or usher anything. We were sitting there the whole time.
You told us that some of the participants, well, the other contestants, I should say, came from different schools around the country, and you were 22 in number. If you got that call at the last minute on that same day to attend the event,
Right.
Did all 22 show up?
No, there were mostly two that hardly shows up in events because one lived in Basse and one was going to Armitage. She represented Armitage. So they were mostly not there unless it finds them in combo at the time.
So on that particular occasion, were you about 20 or were you less than that?
No, so 22 participated in the main event, but then you have the winners. So when we were going to the events, it was the winners that went, so it's way less than 22 because the others were dropped out. So about like 10 of us now, if you count everyone who's a winner. So out of that 10, let's say 2 would be missing, or 1 because they couldn't make it to the combos.
So after this, you were told that you would meet the president and you were moved to a different room.
Right.
Can you tell us what happened next?
We were waiting there, and then Jimby joined us and introduced herself and be like, "Yo, yeah," and then recognized us from the competition. "Yo, you were this, you were that." There was a little chat here and there between all of us. And then the president had come a few minutes after that, and then we went into an office, but it's the round table where most of the events are shown on GRTS. That's where we went, and he sat in his normal place where he sits, like right here, and then I was sitting here starting from me. Auntie Aisha was there, and on the other side were the other girls as well. So he greeted us and hi, and there were so many jokes being made. And then he did ask me, "You're the one whose stomach is hurting you, you know, Fullest, you're always scared of every little thing." And then I agreed, and I confirmed that yes, my stomach was hurting me. That's why I did not come earlier. So he talked about that he has watched the pageant and that we did really good, that this is a good badge, and that all of us deserved our win, and he's very proud of us, and that this is not an official meeting, and he's going to meet us officially with the rest of the ministers. And yes, so now, because I said my stomach was hurting me, the president decided to offer a bottle of medicine that was brought to him, and it was black water that he shaked and said that this is really good for menstrual cramps. And I told him that I'm very bad with medicine. He's like, in Wolof, right, Nana Lee, drink this, it will actually help, it's really good. So he had a cup, a plastic cup, white one, where he poured it, and I drank. And I remember at the time, one of the girls said that I have this constant headache as well, that she always has. And then the president said the medicine also works for that. So, you know, you can drink it. So we all ended up drinking that medicine in cups because everyone got sick. And he said it's really good. And he asked us, are you feeling any changes? I think I said yes. But yeah, and I actually didn't, but I did at the time. So he didn't only stop there, but he gave me the bottle to take home, that if I keep drinking it, it is not only gonna stop my menstrual cramps from right now, but for all future menstrual cramps. So I took the bottle, and then he gave me $50,000 and gave the winner of the senior second, the two winners. He also gave the other girls, but I do not remember the exact amount because sometimes it varies. So that's what happened. And then he got up, he left the room, and then the rest of us also came out. And there were cars that took each of us to our homes. Yeah.
Just a couple of follow-up questions.
Right.
You mentioned the contestant who got up, winner, right? The winner who got up and said she had a headache. Do you remember who that was?
She was Miss something. I can't remember. Can I say her name? Mbo was her last name. Mbo was her last name. I'm trying to click the name right now.
You said that the president gave you $50,000.
Oh, sorry? Yeah.
I'm sure the name will come back to you.
Yeah.
So, gave you $50,000.
Right.
And then gave the other winner $50,000. Is that correct?
Right.
You mentioned some of the things that the president said to you at the time. Do you recall anything else that he said prior to giving you this medicine? Because it sounded like he was encouraging the group and giving advice.
Yes.
So what else did he say, as far as you recall?
Some of them are as repetitive as the courtesy call, but it was mostly centered around us taking our education seriously, and also not let this win get to our heads, that we will start going around and not being humble, I guess. But it was a general advice on us taking this seriously and concentrating on our school.
Did he say anything about marriage or men in any way?
That's what I'm talking about. That's the concept, that we should be serious and focus on our education. Yeah.
When he was giving you this advice as well as encouragement, how did you feel at that point?
I felt that he cared, and that it was a timely advice, because a lot of people, regardless of what pageantry is or under what it is organized, a lot of people try to sexualize pageants or women on stage in general. So I thought it was a great advice for us not to kind of fall for that. Yeah, so I felt like it was a responsible advice to give.
You mentioned the black liquid that you were given, the liquid that cures menstrual cramps as well as headaches.
Right.
When you drank it, could you tell what it was, what it consisted of?
No, it just looked like charcoal, but it didn't have a specific taste for me to be able to say this is what it is. I really don't know.
But when he asked if you were all feeling better, you said yes.
I remember saying yes and other people, but I don't know who from who, but I remember saying yeah.
What made you say yes?
I don't know. I think it's just instincts in the moment. I don't know. I really don't know, but I say it's from side with that, or you know medicine more than me, and I couldn't have that conversation.
And he said it would cure future. You mentioned Jimbe. Did you know her last name?
Jame.
Jame.
Right.
Can you tell us what happened next?
It was a bit late. So life went on. Yundum and everyone else was like in the combos clothes. Yes. Right.
Rather. So you, or thereabouts.
Got a sick call. We had to go and stay at Asobi's. There's this cloth that we all had to match, and that was being sewn and it was brought in, and Auntie Tida was also there. She came and she was advising us on how to be in the presence of diplomats, I guess, that we should behave, that we should not over-exaggerate or be all over the place, and that we should be careful of like what we say in there, because you don't know what is being recorded or what is not. So that happened before we had the courtesy call, and then the courtesy call happened whilst we were at the hotel. I remember Fanambo of UTG, she kind of thought about a song that we should sing, and we all kind of rehearsed it for all of us to get familiar with it, so that when we go, we will all stand up and sing that song, which we were also busy rehearsing before the meeting. I remember parts of the song, I guess.
I'm not going to ask you to sing it, don't worry.
Great.
So what happened after that? You said that you were taken to a hotel.
Yes.
And that was for 2 days.
Yes, before the courtesy call.
At this point, were you still going to school, or had you already stopped for the Christmas holiday?
I'm not sure if we have stopped, but what I know is between this time and subsequent times to come, I was missing a lot of days in school whenever we are to have any of these events, or let's say later on in February for the whole. I remember the headmistress of college calling my mom, or they met at some conference, and she told my mom, Dombi, like, what is wrong with our daughter? She misses days in school. And my mom came to me and she said, oh, the headmistress notices that you miss days in school. I said, did you tell her that we go for events and all this usher? My mom said I didn't, but yeah, that was a concern she raised. So I was missing days on actual school days.
So let me get this straight.
Right.
This was a scholarship pageant with emphasis on education and school.
Right.
You met the president, who again reiterated the importance of going to school.
Right.
However, your responsibilities as a winner meant that you had to miss a lot of school because you had to attend a lot of events.
Yes.
Okay. You said that at some point you had the actual courtesy meeting with the president.
Right.
So this was after you had spent 2 days at a hotel.
Yes.
And received advice about how to comport yourselves in the presence of diplomats.
Yeah.
Tell us what happened at that courtesy meeting. Where was it, and what happened?
It took place at the State House. Was us, the girls, Minister of Education at the time, to other ministers. And she was talking, and half of the girls giving us an opportunity for a lifetime, and that we will take this opportunity and we will run with it and we will make the best of this opportunity. And what a great experience it has been to be part of this whole thing, and how I am inspired that we do have a female vice president. So somewhere around that, and then the person who had the last floor was the president himself. And he went on again about advice on not just jumping into marriages, and also concentrating on our schools, and also developing our skills, and then to make sure we come back to the country to serve when we are done studying. Just to give context here, this was posted on the website of the Republic of the Gambia in 2014. He said Professor Jammeh congratulated the victors for their achievement, noting that he was amazed by the level of talent exhibited during the contest, and encouraged them to take their education seriously, and to utilize their time wisely. He also advised them to be respectful, to be supportive to their parents, and as well as to safeguard their self-esteem, shy away from looking low upon other people, and endeavor to serve as good role models for young people. Commenting on the reluctance of some parents in allowing their daughters to participate in the contest, President Jammeh blamed ignorance for the practice. The president described the contest as a means to empower girls to realize and exploit their potential for nation building, saying there is nothing unreligious about the initiative. Professor Jammeh said he will continue to patronize the initiative, and on the other hand will not associate with anything that will breed immorality in society. That is basically a sum up of what he said on that day.
I will ask the usher to take that document from you so that we can see where it was posted. But in the meantime, please continue telling us what else happened during that courtesy meeting.
After he advised us and told us to be better citizens and representatives of young people, then there was the ceremony of gift giving. Again, on that occasion, as filmed on GRTS, there wasn't any talks about the process of the scholarship start. We were given Mac laptops each, an iPhone, a Mac iPhone with his head on it, printed on the coin gold. The other that I know I got as a winner with the other winner of the high school, and the rest of the girls didn't get the laptop or the coin, but they did get the iPad and an amount of money as well. Yeah.
Do you recall how much money was given?
$200,000.
So from the document that you provided,
right,
it says that you and Awa Jammeh, who was I believe she was one of the winners.
She's the winner of the high school.
Yeah. Received $200,000 each. Is that correct?
Right.
And then for the other winners, they received $100,000 each. That's the cash prize.
There, yeah.
So after giving you these gifts, what else happened during that meeting?
We dispersed, actually. After the whole ceremony, we took pictures. We stood up, we took pictures with the gifts in our hands, and yeah, we went home.
I believe this would be a good place to pause because it's time for the coffee break.
Right.
Mr. Chairman, I hand over to you. We will continue after the coffee break. Thank you.
Thank you very much, my councillor, and thank you very much, Ms. Jallow. We'll take a 30-minute break and come back at 12 noon sharp. Meeting is adjourned. Thank you all.